Welcome to your online source for calculator tutorials. In this tutorial, we will learn how to store values to a variable for later use. Suppose you're working a long problem and you need to make use of an answer for a later calculation. You need to be able to store the answer. Let's begin by calculating the linear cost function for some commodity. Let's say 300 times 500 units produced with a fixed cost of $30,000. Alright, hitting enter will give you the cost total for that level of production at $180,000. We want to be able to use this value later, so I'm going to store this value to the variable C representing cost. In order to be able to do that, simply go down to the store button. It's located above the on button. It will automatically assume I'm wanting to store the answer, which I am, and I want to store it to the C button. In order to use letters as storage variables, you must select the green button alpha, followed by whatever button points to your desired letter. In the case of C, that's the program button. So your screen should say your answer is being stored to C. Go ahead and hit enter, and it'll re-show the value 180,000. Alright, let's do a similar thing for the revenue function. Let's suppose our revenue function, we're earning $15,000 per unit sold, and we want to look at the same amount, 500 units being produced. So we're just going to do a simple multiplication here. Go ahead and hit enter. And we want to store that result to R, standing for the revenue. So go ahead and hit store and then hit alpha. The R button is located where the multiplication button is, so alpha times will give you the R. Go ahead and hit enter once again to store it. Alright, this brings us to our last calculation, and here we want to calculate the profit. Well, if you know anything about cost and revenue functions, you can find the profit by taking the revenue minus the cost. Well, rather than hunting back through calculations to find those values, we can simply say, well, I know I stored the revenue to R, so hit alpha R, and I want to subtract the cost, so hit alpha C. Revenue minus cost is profit. Go ahead and hit enter, and that'll give you the profit for that particular problem. Alright, this concludes our storing variables tutorial. Feel free to replay this tutorial or browse any of the other available topics on the course webpage.